Well, I recorded 15 minutes of safety. Didn't turn on my mic. And of course, with that one thing plugged in, it didn't pick up any volume whatsoever. So here we go. Happy Friday. I wanted to talk about safety. It doesn't matter if you live in a traditional home, in your vehicle, in a tent, on the street. We all need to be safe. And these are just things that work for me. Take it however you want. If they work for you or you could tweak them to do better, that's great. But for myself, this is what works. I have different kinds of weapons, and I do not disclose what they are. My family knows, but other people don't need to know. They will quickly find out if they try to enter my van. But I have them placed throughout. So no matter where I'm at, I'm able to get to something to help protect myself. So, and thank God I got my voice back so I could scream if I need to. But I definitely have things placed. And there's different things you could use. Some people have the pew-pews, and they have tasers, they have knives, they use scissors, they use different sprays. I would caution people about the sprays, especially if you're in an enclosed area. Just know that if you're spraying them, you are going to get some of it yourself. So that's something to consider when it comes to that. The waft spray is really great because it shoots like 40 feet and it doesn't spray out, it streams out. So that works really well. As a matter of fact, I told my daughter to make sure she has a can in her house, not for the wasp, but to use, because you could spray someone right in the eyeballs with it. Not that we would want to, but if they're intruding in your home and you're in fear, it definitely works. So I do that. Another thing is, I don't care that people know I live in my vehicle. I keep good care of my vehicle, but I'm not stealthy. I mean, let's be real about it. You put up your blackout blinds, and then I put a blanket over that as well in the winter to help keep the cold from entering into my van. But you get condensation. Now, I don't know about you, but if I drive by a rig and I see everything blacked out and condensation, chances are someone is sleeping in there. So I used to stress over, oh my gosh, I gotta be still, I can't move, you gotta be quiet. I would cough into my pillow because if you could hear someone walking by, they could hear you. I used to stress that, but I don't anymore. And the reason why is because I legally park. If the ordinance wherever I'm at, and I always research the ordinances, is different. Each town varies. It used to be the whole county would go by it, but now the towns are able to adopt their own rules and regulations on it. So wherever I'm at, I check it. And if they say it's legal for here, here, or here, then that's what I do. So then I don't worry about it. I put up my blinds. If there's a knock, I never answer it. I don't care if they would knock and say police. I'm not answering it. I'm not obligated to answer it. And we don't know if they are the police or not. I don't have a peephole, nor do I want one, to look out to see who's knocking. If I don't feel safe, I will quickly tear down my front blind and drive off. I just don't answer. As a matter of fact, I had a friend who I had the front open. I was at the park, and I heard their vehicle, so I knew who it was, and they're just tapping away on the window instead of just looking in my windshield, because I keep the driver's side blind up, and when I'm parked, not driving. But finally they looked in. They said, "Why didn't you answer?" I said, "Well, I don't answer knocks to anybody. I don't care who it is. They knock, I'm not answering." Same if you're in a traditional home. You don't have to answer your door. we actually, especially as single women, need to be more cautious instead of just, hey, nope, sorry, wrong house. You don't want to do that. I always know my surroundings as well. I know what vehicles, like right now, there's only 2 other vehicles here where I'm at. And they have been here shortly after I got here. So they've been here all day. I know my surroundings. I did have an issue with one gentleman that would follow me from both sides of the park, and then I'd go back around to the back side of the park, and he would follow me, and he would just glare at me or look at me and laugh. So I had to leave that park for a while, which is the park I'm at right now, just because I just wanted a break so he could find someone else, I suppose, to bother. Um, I never made only one time made eye contact with him, and but you could see him out of the corner of your eye, and he was parking really close to where I was at, and I just didn't feel right about it. Something was so uneasy. So I just decided, well, give this park a break for a while and go somewhere else. And that's the thing I love about being mobile. I could just, if I don't feel comfortable, if I don't feel safe, I could just go. I could just drive. And that's a good thing. So I always check my surroundings. I always make sure my doors are locked. I triple check them. That's something that I do, and I'm glad that I do it 3 times, So I know all of that, and I know that I don't answer knocks. I know I'm not breaking a law, so I'm okay. And I have sweet sleep, and I don't get bothered, The only time I've ever had a knock was from some stranger, and I was getting ready to leave. It was 6 in the morning, and this was years back. And, I pretty much scared the bejeebies out of him, just he probably thought it was a crazy woman in here. But yeah, I just make sure that I'm safe. And like I said, I have all of my weapons and stuff, things that I could use for self-defense, placed throughout my van. But I just don't put myself in situations. Doesn't mean a situation won't happen, but I don't just go and park anywhere not knowing the laws or the ordinances. Researching the crime in that area, that's another big thing. If you're boondocking and you're using iOverlander, which is a wonderful app, a lot of the reviews that people are honest say, it's sketchy or it was really loud. There was a lot of partying. There were people shooting guns. You want to stay away from that. If you pull into a spot and it's full of trash, just keep driving. Just keep going. There are so many places to park. You're not living in that space. You're just sleeping, but it's the same when I come to the park. I have a few of them I go to. Sometimes they're great, and other times, like with that gentleman, it just didn't feel right. My favorite park to be at, there was a lot of great places to walk, where I could still see my van. So you just got to follow your gut. Speaking of parking and going and doing stuff, another thing, I don't leave, like, my Jackery batteries and everything is removed out of sight. I don't leave my tablet out. I have an extra phone that I just use for videos. I make sure that's put up. I don't leave any change laying around. There's nothing. Now, someone could walk up on my van and it's obvious I live in it. I use it. So I don't want to give them an excuse to say, hey, I could use those Jackeries. There's 2 of them there. Let's take them. I don't want to do that. So I just make sure that everything's straightened up and cleaned up. What's nice in the summertime, because there's sun, you could put up your shades, and no one even thinks twice about it that, hey, you're trying to cover something up. It's like you're trying to keep the sun out of your rig. In the winter, it's a little more questionable, but once again, I don't really care, you know, what people think. I'm not breaking laws. And as long as I'm not breaking a law, I'm good. So that's where I am with that. But yeah, just research. After a while, it gets really old. You think, oh my gosh. But after a while, it's just a habit, from locking your doors, making sure things are picked up out of sight. Another thing is let someone know where you're at. When I leave to go, which I'm going to be leaving here in a little bit, to go park for the night, I text her headed to XYZ. And then when I get there, and she knows how long it takes to get there, then I say, okay, I'm here, and then I start prepping for the night. When I get up to go, because I am stationary right now because of the chemo treatments I'm still doing, I will say, okay, I'm going to this store to get groceries. And then when I come out of the store, I just text her, hey, I'm done. I'm headed to the park. When I get to the park, I said, okay, I'm here. I'll be here all day. Call me later, just so that she knows, because we have a plan. If she doesn't hear from me for hours, 2-3 hours, because we text and talk a lot, then there's something wrong. So, whether it's you want to put a 24-hour, someone don't hear from you, have someone go and look and check for you, you have to have a safety plan. And that's, we're going to check into that 360. So she knows that she'll have my GPS, she'll know where I'm at, and so if anything was to happen, you know, heck, I could blow a tire or anything could happen. So, but she would know where I would be located at, and she could send out the troops for me. So just, find someone that you could trust, that that hey, I haven't heard from mom in several hours, try to contact, still nothing, then, call and get a safety check going. So those are things that I do. Like I said, I have my weapons around. I'm aware of my surroundings. I know what the laws are. I don't answer knocks. I don't welcome people to come up to my van. And I've had people come to approach my van, and I put my hand out and I crack my window about this much and I say, hey, I don't know you. I had a gentleman the other day, he was looking for a cigarette and he's screaming it at me because I was like, I don't know you. I don't smoke. Goodbye. And he apologized. And I know it seems kind of rude. People think that's rude, but it's called safety. No one has a reason to approach, be it my front door in a house that I don't know, asking me for something, or my vehicle, which is my home as well. So just don't think you're being rude. It's safety. Your life does matter, and you need to be safe out in this world. There are so many people that are smiling in our faces that not always mean well. So it doesn't matter where we're at. I mean, we find it in a grocery store. I'm constantly scanning to look to see if something might not be right, because be it in, a store, a church, it, in, walking down the street, we just don't know when something's going to happen. So just be vigilant. Kind of like you're a defensive driver. Well, you got to be defensive living as well. But not so much that you're so panicked that you won't do nothing with life. Like, I can't wait to get back out there and go visiting my ghost towns that I love, or go up into the mountains where I love to be. But if it's sketchy in those areas, I'm not staying. There's so much to see in this world, so much to do. I don't have to be in a spot where I don't feel safe. So I hope this helps somebody. These are just things that have worked for me, and do your research where you're at. It's so easy to find out the crime in the area and the ordinances of the city or town you're at. It's so easy. Just Google it. You'll find it. Anyway, I pray that you have an amazing weekend. I'm a little chemo sick, but it's not so bad. Thank you, Jesus. And remember, first and foremost, before you do anything, pray. Pray for God's protection over you, your vehicle, your home. Pray that He leads you to the right spot to be for the night, you know. And if you're not a praying person, try it. It works. It's good stuff. Anyway, this is Gracie, and I just pray that you have an amazing, amazing weekend. Thanks for listening. If you could please like, share, and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. Talk to you soon. Bye.